The day in Gdansk today began with some hostile guitar, and my blood sugar was pretty good as me and Masaya wandered all over Gdansk again, until dinner when my beloved soup in a bread bowl punched me in the pancreas. Ooh. Hi, I'm Jeremy. Thanks for watching. The day began well. Despite the rice I had for dinner last night and the cookies that I had back in the hotel afterwards, my blood sugar was 86 when I woke up. There were a couple other people in the breakfast room of the Happy 7 hostel, but they weren't very chatty. But it didn't matter because they had a guitar there, and I haven't played guitar in about a month, so I took the opportunity to get a few chords out. Etc., etc., and then was outside to explore Gdansk. And this is really an amazing city. It was a chilly and very overcast day today, which means that the sky was not a distraction. All the focus was on the buildings and the people and the parks. Everything you see is full of character in Gdansk. There's all these grand building facades, these odd little sculptures and statues and monuments. All of them must mean something to the locals or to somebody, but to us they were just character. The strange parks and the busy people and the not so busy people. It's an amazing place to wander through. We even wandered down the wrong road for a long time and got lost, but even that turned out to be nice. What a great park. What a great little area to be lost in. In front of this pond, I checked and my blood sugar was 182. Not super duper, but under 200. Finally, we made it back to town and we found the train station and there was a tourist office. And I went in to ask the guy for a map of Gdansk, because I didn't have one. That's why we got lost. And he was very unfriendly and gruff, and he threw a map up on the desk. And it wasn't a particularly nice map, but it was free. We had a quick lunch of potatoes and rolled cabbage in this place. Then Masaya went back to the room to rest, and I got to explore Old Town some more. Gdansk looms large in European and Polish history. First established in the 900s, by the 1300s it was a member of the Hanseatic League. It has long had a tradition of shipbuilding, and as a major seaport has been at the center of international tensions. Specifically, it has changed hands between Poland and Germany, and was de facto independent between World War I and World War II. Its German name is Danzig, which sounds rad enough to be the name of a heavy metal band. Gdansk is the birthplace of Lech Wałęsa's Solidarity movement, a workers' rights group that was a major force in ending communist rule in Poland. The city suffered major damage in World War II, and when rebuilding itself in the 1950s and 60s, it was redesigned specifically to ignore all German influence and styles. Old Town Gdansk is not that big. It's only about 3 or 4 blocks, but everywhere you go, you see something that's absolutely compelling. As I said, a lot of it is the huge facades, but the smaller touches are weird too. You might question how Polish some of this stuff is, but all of it is Gdansk. And like Warsaw, Old Town is a little bit touristy, but unlike Warsaw, the touristiness of Gdansk is actually kind of acceptable. It seems to sort of blend in with the surroundings. I mean, this woman doesn't seem too happy about it, but I thought it was alright. I found a second tourist office and I went in to see if I could get a better map. They did have a better map for free, but they weren't any friendlier. But hey, I'm all for cartographically enhancing any trip. One of the really cool things about Old Town, and incidentally about our hostel, is that it's right on the banks of the Mołtwawa River. And it gets dark early in Poland at this time of year. And so by the time I went back to the hostel and walked along the Mołtwawa River, it was dusk. And the murky sky and the murky waters were kind of merging into this one kind of foggy atmospheric whole. And I enjoyed the old boats and the nautical feel of this place, because it is a river, but just around the bend is the wide open Baltic Sea. But what I really liked was the ducks. If these guys like Gdansk, then I'm with the ducks. It's amazing to think that our room in the Happy 7 hostel is on such a nice, quiet little back street right next to the Mołtwawa River, and these are our neighbors. Back in the room, my blood sugar was 63, so I had a few cookies. Before dinner, my blood sugar had gone to 161. Almost 2 full days of all under 200 blood sugars. However, dinner was right behind the hostel on the banks of the river in this place called Przystań Gdańska. No, I will not repeat that. And they had the thing I love most about the world, soup in a bread bowl. I took a gleeful shot, ordered my soup in a bread bowl, plus this garlic shrimp dish. The whole thing was about $18, which is way more than I usually pay for a meal when I'm traveling on a budget, but it was worth it. It was great. I even ate half the bread bowl. Just like Gdansk itself, this restaurant had a lot of character and a lot of decorations that just made it its own. There were no other customers, but that's one of the benefits of traveling in the off-season, when you can find something open. You often have it all to yourself. Unfortunately, the soup in the bread bowl stopped my good blood sugar streak. 3:26 before bed. Oh! It happens. Good thing and a bad thing. My favorite thing was the vibe of Old Town Gdansk. It's truly European, and it's everything that Warsaw just strives to be but isn't yet. The bad thing is the fact that Gdansk has this cool tram system, and so far we haven't had a chance to ride it. And I'm not sure we're gonna ever need to ride it, really. Maybe we can find an excuse to. Diabetes thoughts for today. Thanks to the one high reading before bed, my average today was 164, but have almost an entire day of perfect blood sugars, or almost perfect, shows real progress. And for what it's worth, the trip average has gone down a point to 192. Tomorrow we're going to see more of Gdansk. Most interestingly, we're going to go down to the shipyards where Lech Wałęsa's Solidarity movement began. We're going to cross paths with Michael Palin again, and I'm going to have a decent-ish day of blood sugars.